say this is a big rich town. I just come from the poet's part. Bright light, city life, I gotta make it, this is where it goes down. I just happen to come up hard. Legal or illegal, baby, I gotta make it.
I never took a straight path nowhere. Life's full of twists and turns, bumps and bruises. I live, I learn. I'm from that city full of yellow cabs and skyscrapers. It's hard to get a start in these parts without paper. Homie, I grew up in hell, a block away from heaven. That corner age 15 minutes, it move at 7. Pure snow, bag it then watch it go. Occupational options, get some blow or some hoes. Shoot the ball of the
What's going on, Cigar World? What's going on, Cigar Enthusiasts? This your boy, Jack the Cigar Enthusiast. You already know what it is. I'm back with another Virtual Smoke Deck. Today, man, we got some stuff in store with you guys, and it's going to be epic. And I hope you guys are ready. Y'all already know what it is. If you're watching on YouTube, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Go ahead and smash that like button. And make sure you turn on that notification bell. And most importantly, if you're watching on YouTube, Facebook, from the Dapper D's page, make sure you click the like button on that page, and also press the like button, the heart button, the care emoji, whatever it is that you want to do to make sure you show this post and this Virtual Smoke Deck some love. With that being said, if you're watching, go ahead and hit that share button as well. Man, today, man, we got some stuff in store for you. And I got a special guest, which is a good friend of mine. I'm gonna dive into his little profile here in a second, but this guy is phenomenal. This guy is truly, one of the most well-rounded men I know here in Jacksonville, and man, he's about his business. And y'all are gonna see that here in a little bit. Unfortunately, he does not smoke cigars, which is not a problem for me because I'm all about getting the educators here on the Virtual Smoke Deck so we can enjoy the time with each other as well as smoking on some good cigars. If you haven't already, and you don't know, make sure you comment in that comment box so you can get all of the love from Jack the Cigar Enthusiast. I'm going to give you a personal hey, high five, and everything. And also today, I said today at 7:30 pronto, we're announcing the winner of the September subscriber giveaway. If you don't know what the September subscriber giveaway is, you need to go to DapperDCigars.com and go ahead and hit the subscribe button. That first pops up. Put your name in there. Put your email. Guess what? You're subscribed. And you have a chance to actually win this stuff as well as everybody else. But our winner is somebody that just subscribed not too long ago. And again, the way that the thing works, if you subscribe, you win. Period. With that being said, let's roll into it, man. What everybody's smoking on. Let me see those smoke signals. Let me see what y'all smoking on the entirety of this event. Today, I'm smoking on a Palisade Irma Frente. And when I sit here and say we got some perfecto to go with this perfect segment that we're about to have, man. But I love this Irma Frente by Palisade. This is just a freaking well-rounded cigar. I want to say it was a 94 or 95 on Cigar Aficionado. It tells you why. This is just a perfectly burned cigar as well as well composed with some great taste notes. With that being said, man, let's stop talking about everything that you guys don't care about. Let's get into our special guest. Today, a special guest is the president of Ingram Capital, which is a residential investment company that invests in communities and literally is on the prowl to find any single house that they can build into their portfolio and also bring up. Man, this guy has a phenomenal strategy. And when I talk to him and listen to him speak, it's just kind of mind-blowing what you can do when you sit here and put your money where your mouth is. You know, this guy is finding homes that are in distress and literally making them livable homes that it's marketed to all kinds of people within certain all communities and all income brackets. Man, this guy is phenomenal, has an amazing idea, but I'm not going to keep talking about him. Without further ado, let's introduce Wil Ingram. What's going on, Wil?
Thanks, Darren. Man, I'm so excited to be on this channel. This is awesome.
Man, we are excited to have you with us today, Wil. I've been looking at this opportunity for a while now. It's like, man, when can I get Wil on? When can I get Wil on? When can I get Wil on? And guess what? We got Wil on, man. And I promise you, and for all my viewers, man, they don't understand. We got some stuff in store for them.
Yeah. Yeah, I completely love it.
Go ahead, Wil. Sorry.
Yeah, it's always good to be able to talk to a fellow entrepreneur, business owner, and just educate people in general.
Absolutely. Hey, Wil, I know you don't smoke, so I'm kind of doing all the smoking by myself today, which I don't mind. I smoke enough cigars a day to do that. I have no problem with that. But if you were to be smoking a cigar, do you have a cigar in mind that you would be smoking?
Unfortunately, I do not. So I've smoked quite a few cigars in the day, but I wouldn't be able to tell you exactly which ones. Maybe a Monte Cristo. Does that ring any bells?
Okay, yeah, Monte Cristo. Monte Cristo definitely rings a bell. Monte Cristo has some phenomenal cigars that we love to. I mean, everybody loves a great Monte Cristo. One of the ones that most people recommend is the White Series. The White Series is definitely one that comes to mind for most. But I would imagine that's probably something that you would be smoking on, a White Series or more of a Connecticut mild cigar.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a little bit of.
I'm having some trouble hearing you.
That's some trouble hearing me.
Yeah. Yeah, it's reverberating.
Now.
Yeah, I got you. Just a little bit, man.
Jesus. Hold on. Difficulty. This.
Yeah, that's perfect.
What about now?
Oh yeah.
Is it much better?
Gotcha.
Okay. Sorry guys. I'm the brains behind everything, and sometimes I don't have a brain. So did anybody hear my my introduction?
Yeah, I got your introduction fine.
All right. Hey Joe, is that much better? Man, my guy, I appreciate it. Hey, sorry about that, Wil. I don't know where you heard where I started getting choppy at, but I said go ahead and tell us a little bit about you, brother.
Yeah. So my brother and I, we started real estate investing about 3 years ago. So something we've always been interested in, always wanted to get into. And the reason we started getting into it was we wanted to be able to pay for our kids' colleges. Between me and my brother, we got 5 kids right now. Both our wives are due in November. Yeah, I know. He's got 3, I got 2. But he's about to have 4, and I'm about to have 3. So we're going to have 5 kids in college at any given time, just based on their ages. And we're like, man, we got to do something. We didn't like the whole 401k or all that idea, or the 529 plan. So we're like, let's do real estate. Let's get involved with that, and just build up the cash flow and be able to eventually just pay for their colleges outright.
And before we get there, you was in the Navy, right?
Yeah.
How many years did you serve in the Navy?
I did 6.5 years in the Navy.
6.5. Naval school graduate.
Yeah, I went to the Naval Academy.
The Naval Academy, there it is.
Yeah.
I took everything that I learned from the Navy, and I balled it up, and I put it in the box in my attic. So a lot of the terminology, I try to get away from. I try to get away from the scuttlebutts. I try to get away from the P-ways. I try to get away from the chief petty officers.
Yeah.
But so tell us about your Navy experience.
My Navy experience was good. I mean, I enjoyed it. I was just gone all the time. So I was a surface warfare officer, meaning I navigated ships out to sea. So, I mean, I stayed out to sea. I was on ships for 4 years. I was out to sea for 3 of them. Between floating around the Atlantic, the Middle East, just all over the place.
How many countries? When I tell people how many countries I've been to, they be like, "Oh, you lying." How many countries has you been to, Will?
I've never really counted all the countries that I've been to. We only pulled into port about once a month, and you're there for like 2 or 3 days.
Yeah.
So, but I would say maybe 8 different countries.
Okay. How many deployments have you been on?
2.5.
2.5. I did 5 when I was in the Navy. I've been to 29 different countries. 29. So I calculate all my time in the military, and I said I spent 10 years actually active duty. 3.5 was spent underway.
Yeah.
3.5 years was spent underway. And that right there is the reason why I got out the Navy.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that has a lot to the reason why you did.
Yeah. I mean, I was on ships for 4 years, out to sea for 3 of them, So between all the workups, the deployments, just the training here and there.
Just terrible. So you said you and your brother started the Ingram Capital, right? Obviously, you guys wanted to be able to pay out of pocket for your children's tuition and different things of that nature. But in reality is it safe to say the reason why you really got into this is to create this financial blanket for you and your family and all the other generations thereafter?
Yeah. We want financial freedom too. That's what we're really after. So it's like, man, how can we get financial freedom? And you started reading up on it, listening to some books here and there, and you got some financial advisors say, stock all your money away here, save it up for 30 years, and then hopefully you won't outlive all that you saved up for. So my brother and I, we just weren't interested in that advice. We're like, we want to build up the cash flow right now. So that's what we did.
I listened to, and you probably know them as well. You know some millionaires, and you listen to like the things that they tell you. And it's kind of mind blowing that, as you think about what you want to do and where you want to go, you feel like you go through these steps. Think of it like the steps in Philadelphia that Rocky ran in order to get to the statue, right? There was 3 tiers of steps. Once you get to the top, now you in the big leagues, but you also ultimately have to get there. Hey, Joe, man, thanks for your service. And we located in Jacksonville, Florida. Biggest thing is you have to get there. And so many times, no matter what kind of journey you on, right? They tell you about different things that you need to prepare for to get to where it is up those steps, right?
Yeah.
And financial advisors are, for the wealthier. You got to at least make, 75, 80,000 to start really playing in the financial realm. You get some rookies that would sit here and tell you that you have to go ahead and invest into mutual funds, invest into all of this and all this good stuff. I have never heard a millionaire say that is what they did to help them get to $1 million. It's so mind blowing, right? I'm going to tell you that you need to invest your money into, Will, where are you located? He's located here in Jacksonville.
Yeah, I'm in Jacks too.
Yep. But a lot of his operation is not in Jacksonville, it's in somewhere else. And we're going to get into that in here in a little bit. But, the financial advisors will tell you to go ahead and, put your money here, save there. But I have not met one millionaire that said they became a millionaire by saving or putting their money into mutual funds or trying to build a Roth IRA account. Like that is a long-term plan to become a millionaire or become whatever it is that you're doing. You have to start now at young, especially if you didn't come from nothing. You got to start young and build that way. And I feel like that has a lot to do with you. Do you agree?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, my brother and I, we built our way from the bottom up. We didn't start with much. So we started saving a good enough base when we were at our standard W-2 jobs when I was in the Navy and when he was a police officer for a while. So neither of us had big incomes per se, but we both saved what we could, and then got the down payment for the first place and just kept on going from there.
So You say down payment for your first base. Right now, do I want to go that route? I don't want to go that route yet. But
right.
Will put himself in a very advantageous position to really expand his operation by going from internally versus externally. And we're going to explain that here in a little bit. I would love for you to dive into that. But first and foremost, where's the bulk of your properties located?
Dayton, Ohio. That's where my brother's at.
Dayton, Ohio. What made you choose Dayton, Ohio?
Well, he lived there. So he had a good idea of what was going on in the market. And he bought the first duplex. So he called me up on the phone. He said, Will, let me tell you about this investment I just made. He's like, we have got to do this together. We got to get as many of these properties as we can. So I was like, all right, Ryan. At first I told him no. I was like, look, I'm getting out of the Navy in 4 months. I don't want to mess around with rental properties right now. I'm trying to find myself a job after I get out. I got nothing lined up yet. Still working on it. And he's like, Will, the time is now. We're going. So
what helped you actually overcome that fear that you had to just go ahead and dive in?
Yeah,
I mean, obviously you knew it was your brother. You knew he wasn't going to do anything ill will towards you. But what made you overcome that fear to actually to do it?
I mean, I looked at all the numbers. I was like, they do make sense. I was read up on real estate investing. I mean, picked a few books and then said, you know what? These deals do look good. My brother's up there. He's our boots on the ground, if you will. And we just went for it.
Yeah. And a lot of things about people's success typically stop right where you said that you were going to stop at originally. But instead, you further educated yourself, you moved forward, and you tried to understand it to the best of your ability to where it made sense. But a lot of people stop in that fear factor, if you want to give it a name, stop in that fear factor where they take themselves out of the equation by saying one simple word, no. It doesn't sound right. But understanding that you had somebody in your corner that was, fully backing. And I think obviously it being your brother, the understanding, the relationship was there. Now, obviously your operation is fully grown from just one duplex, man. Where are you at now?
Right now, we got 80 places, 80 properties.
Where are you trying to be next year?
Next year, by the summertime, we want to be to around 120.
120. And then do you have what is your strategy without going into too many details on how you're actually going to get there?
So our 3-year goal, I'll just start there. At the end of 2023, we want to have 350 places.
Okay.
So we took the income that we wanted to make, we're looking out if I could have whatever I want, looking forward, and then I just did the numbers backwards, said I want to make X number of dollars, and then how many houses would we have to get there? It's just a math problem at that point.
Yeah.
And can you solve this math problem?
Yeah. So what is your sorry, go ahead. I apologize.
So I think you're asking how are we going to get there?
Pretty much. Yes, exactly
Yeah, I'm doing a big refinance right now. So I'm bundling 36 of these houses together with a bank, and they're going to give us a refinance. And then I'll be able to use the money that I raised from private investors, essentially cash them out, and then move their money to new properties. So I'll have enough money to go buy about 25 new properties.
So
that could happen in the next 3 to 4 months.
3 to 4 months.
Yeah.
25 more properties. Guys, are y'all listening to what he's saying? 25 properties in 3 months. All right. But Will, you kind of jump, you mixed a big gap there. And the gap is how you got from 1 to 80. Right?
Okay.
Because I mean, let's just face it, we all can, once we get to an established threshold, we can multiply that to make it work and multiply in several different fashions, right? But how did you turn a duplex into 80 homes?
Okay. Yeah, good question. So to this one duplex, and my brother and I looked at, all right, what went well, what didn't go well. We changed it up to how we bought house number 2.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think by the end of the first year, we started in August of 2017. I think we only had maybe 4 places by the end of that year.
Uh-huh.
So, I mean, most of these houses are around $40,000. So, I mean, $10,000 will be a down payment that'll get you into one of these.
Yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, so I think we had maybe 5, 6 houses by the end of 2017. And then my brother found one of our mentors up there that we pretty much copied his format. And that's another thing. I'd find a mentor, find somebody who's been there, who's done all these steps, and just copy it. I'm not a creative guy, So, the guy's got 800 houses. So
Jesus. Jesus. 800?
800.
I guarantee he's bringing in almost $1 million a month.
Yeah, probably. So we just copied his blueprint pretty much exactly. And we started running with it from there. I think by the end of year 2, we were up to 21 properties.
Mm-hmm.
And you got to get creative with financing too. That's how we went from one to another, because you run out of your own money fast in real estate.
Yeah.
It's a capital intensive game. So we used our own money for probably the first 3 to 4 properties, and then we were tapped out. We don't have any more money to use, but we want to keep growing. So that's when we raised money from investors, which that's what all entrepreneurs have to learn at some point. Whether you're starting your own cigar shop, whether you're starting a bagel company, whatever you're doing, you got to be able to raise capital from somewhere.
Absolutely. And not to try to, go back into time, but last week I talked all about bank relationships and how to find investors. So if you didn't watch that video, that segment, you need to go ahead and watch this shortly after this. Question from one of the viewers, Joe Brazil. He said, what was your very first purchase as an investor, and how much?
Very first purchase. The first house, my brother kind of did that one by himself, and then I got involved a little bit after that. So I'll tell you about the one my wife and I did. It's here in Jacksonville. We bought it for $175,000 right off the MLS. And then, the market rent for it's probably $1,500 a month now. It wasn't then. The market's appreciated quite a bit.
Yeah.
But this is just one type of real estate investing. This one's more appreciation in the Jacksonville market. In Dayton, it's a cash flow market. So the two are different.
Yeah.
My wife and I put $40,000 into this property between the down payment and a little bit of rehab. And it's appreciated $40,000 over the past 3 years. So it's almost like we've, if we were to sell it, we would essentially double our money in 3 to 4 years.
What a lot of people don't understand is the statement that you just made there is cash flow market, appreciation market, right?
Yeah.
And I'm not going to steal, any of your thunder, because I want you to dive into that and how to understand those two markets. But you have to understand the locality of any type of residential investment that you're trying to do. When you talk about, being an entrepreneur, when you talk about investing into things, it cannot just be like, okay, there's a major street that goes through the city. Great area, we're going to put up right here. Because if that market is on a downward spiral and all of the houses have been staying at, what it is that they were 5 years ago, then that's probably not a market in which you want to go. So speaking of that, what is the difference for the viewers of a cash flow market and an appreciation market?
So I'll tell you the Dayton numbers. We could buy a house for $40,000 and it rents out for $700 or $800 a month. So all of our expenses on a $40,000 house, between the principal, the interest, taxes, insurance, management, you're talking probably $600 a month, and we're bringing in $750. So the expenses are probably even a little bit less than that. Probably $500.
That's like on a 15-year fix, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, if you was to do that on a 30-year fix, and I mean, you could still just think about it. A car is worth 40 grand and you can buy a property. I mean, if you even do the numbers on it more of a 30-year fix, I mean, I think, after taxes, interest, and management and all that, you're probably at $300 or something like that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we account for capital expenditures too. So in that number, I got 10% set aside for management and 10% set aside for capital expenditures. If I got to replace an AC unit, replace a roof, something later on down the road.
Yeah.
So I got that all budgeted in, and I factor, my goal is to take home $200 a month per property.
Makes sense.
So when I'm using long-term debt, like the 30-year fixed loan you were just talking about.
Yeah. Okay. And then what is the appreciation market?
Appreciation markets where you're not getting that much cash flow every month. I mean, the rent may pretty much even out, break even with your mortgage payment. Maybe you get $100 a month from it. But the house, like I was telling you earlier, I bought the first place for $175 and it's worth $205, $210 right now, 3 years down the road. So whereas these houses we're buying in Dayton, I mean, it started at $40,000, maybe it's worth 42, 44 now, somewhere in there. There's not a huge jump, but like there is been in Jacksonville. Right. And something that really drives appreciation is people moving in.
Yeah.
So Jacksonville's got a ton of folks moving in right now, new construction everywhere.
Yes.
You talk to these realtors around here, every house has 8-10 offers on it within the first day.
Yes. They say Jacksonville is the largest growing city in America right now. And I'm going to tell you why for all my people that does not live in Jacksonville. And I'm sure Will can agree to this 110%. First and foremost, Jacksonville is the cheapest city to live in within Florida, located on a beach. Okay. Before now, I mean, you just date back 5 to 6 years ago, the activities, the things to do here was minimum. I mean, it's a huge city. You drive literally everywhere. And the amount of activities or things that brings revenue was pretty much not even in existence. It wasn't until about 5-6 years ago where they just had a major boom and it's just been surging from there. I mean, when you think of a hurricane, right? The hurricane, surges at the middle, and then as it pushes on, it's a hurricane hitting Jacksonville right now, and people moving as well as the rapidness of the city's rebuilding its infrastructure. The expansion of the airport. They just announced a new VA. If you didn't know, a new VA on the north side, which is crazy, especially for everybody that comes from South Georgia, coming into the north side, man. So it's best to understand that. And I think that's kind of where you led at, is you understood Dayton, Ohio's market, and you learned how you can take that sponge, soak it up, and not still, wring it out dry every time you wrung it. And instead of wringing it out dry, you added more water every single time that you invested into a property. And I mean, that's really based off of, those numbers being astronomically low and affordable. But what a lot of people don't know is like, it's a lot of nice houses, especially like where I grew up from, where you can rent a house for $800, $700, $750, and get you a 3-4 bedroom house. Yeah.
I mean, these are solid houses. Most of them were built in the early 1900s, probably 1930s. Our typical place is probably a 2-1, 3-1. Our bigger houses are like a 3, 1.5, or 3-2. They really didn't put 2 bathrooms in that many houses back then. Yeah. So, but I mean, these are really nice, well-built, well-constructed. I mean, I would argue the materials used back then may be better than the materials used today.
That is a fact. I 100% agree with that, because they were using all bricks. They were using solid wood. I mean, none of that plank stuff and, these pre-put together homes and trailer to a lot. It's just like, Jesus. Yeah. But hey, Will, we're going to dive into our next part. Before we dive more into everything that Will's got going on, I'm telling you, Wil has a phenomenal strategy, and we're going to dive into it a little bit more in more detail after this segment. But I want to take the time right now to announce our winner of our September subscriber giveaway, and that goes to Corrine Morton. Thank you so much for your support of Dapper D's. She won a 20-count humidor with 4 Project 40s, which is a 93 rating by Cigar Aficionado. A 5-pack, man. Congratulations. Thank you so much for your support. If you're learning, if you want to know how you can subscribe for a chance to win, simply go to DapperDCigars.com and, subscribe. It's going to be a little pop-up that pops up. Put your first name, your last name, and your email address, and you have a chance to win. Again, congratulations, Corrine Morton. So now that we got that out the way, Wil, so we kind of talked about how you got from 1 to 80, right? Yeah. Now, you said you're going through some refinancing and stuff like that, moving money around, because that is what you have to do in order to continue to build. But what is your strategy outside of that? What is your strategy to get you from that next 25 houses that you're going to have in the next 3 to 4 months to which will take you to 105 to the 150 or the 45 other homes that you need to buy to hit your yearly goal?
Yeah, really, it's about how much money can you raise, So with this refinance, I mean, it's pretty big. I'm refinancing 36 houses. So that'll give me a lot of the capital that I've already raised back. So, I mean, the investors that we're paying right now, they want their money that we're giving them. We cut them a check every month. So we pay our investors generally around 10%, somewhere in there, and we'll cut them a check every month. So 10% annually, you divide that out, it's like 0.83%, something like that. But yeah, a lot of folks love that monthly check, So they say, we'll keep investing my money. I know your project's done. Go find a new project. And that's what we do. So that'll give me the enough money to go buy the next 20-some houses. And then I'll just do that again. Yeah. I'll do another big refi here in about a year.
Was there ever a time within this growing phase that you was like stuck at a wall, a brick wall that seemed like there was no tools or anything you could do to get over it? And what did you do to get over it? And what was the motivational piece to not only get over it, but destroy that wall so you'll never hit it again?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I've been turned down by so many banks. It's crazy. I'll call them, I'll explain our situation, and they say, you got how many properties? Some of them just hang up the phone. They're like, no, we don't want to finance anything you got. So it took me about a year to find the bank that I'm doing this big loan with. Because the trouble you run into is nobody wants to finance a $40,000 mortgage, because it's just as easy to finance a $200,000, $300,000 mortgage, and you make your commission. It's a percentage base. So people don't make anything off a $40,000 house.
Yeah.
So,
and I mean,
that's one of the roadblocks.
And that firsthand as an actual mortgage loan officer. I mean, this is what I mean by when I said that he put himself in a position to understand from the internal versus the external. Now, understanding that you're a mortgage loan officer for Atlantic Trust Mortgage now, how has that put in perspective everything that Ingram Capital has going and, moving forward?
So finding lending or finding bank money essentially was our hardest thing to do as a young company. Because a lot of folks want to see, 2 years worth of financials, all this other stuff. So I was like, you know what? Let me get on the inside and figure this out. So that's when I switched careers. I was in the commercial heating and air equipment sales business. I was like, let me immerse myself in mortgages and go figure this out. That way it'll help out my business. I'll be able to help out the community still. Hopefully I can solve this problem and help out other investors as well.
Yeah. So what did you learn?
Yeah. So what did I learn? I learned that people are much more friendly to talk to me on the phone when I say I'm also a mortgage loan originator, and to just keep calling. I mean, I had to call 20 banks till I found and really how this one found me, the one that we're doing the big refi with right now. I just put it up on the Facebook group, Dayton Real Estate Investors Network. I just put it in on the Facebook group, and the guy found me somehow. I was like, hey, this is the type of loan I'm looking for. And he rogered up and said he could do it. So It's really
You
a Hail
know?
Mary pass that just came to fruition.
And that's why, like, one of the most important things that you have to have when going into the entrepreneur stage is you can have, unless you have, a trust fund or a bunch of money that, somebody left you behind to play with, you have to really understand and fall in love with networking. Yeah. Networking is key, because at the end of the day, if you don't network properly, then you would never be able to get the funding for it. And you will always be sitting in that bracket or that mindset where what it is that you were trying to do is now more of a fantasy versus a reality.
Yeah. Yeah, you're exactly right. And, another stumbling block we ran into along the way is working capital. Real estate's a capital intensive game. So we had to start replacing the main drains on all these old houses. So that cost us $3,000 or $4,000 per main drain. Just an unexpected expense that we didn't see coming. So it's like, man, our working capital's going down quick right now, and we're gonna be out of money here soon if we don't do something quick. Yeah. So a lot of entrepreneurs stop right before they're about to have a big breakthrough. And it just takes time.
Say it again, Will. Say it again. Say it again.
So many folks stop and give up when the times get rough. You're thinking there might not be a way out of this one, but you just got to find the way out,
Man, what? Man, I promise you sound like a pastor right there. People give up before their biggest breakthrough because the road got hard. Yeah. Because somebody told you no. Like, I'm not even going to go into my situation, but everybody didn't say yes to me. Everybody loved the concept, the idea, but some people just couldn't get behind the cigar things. I was blessed. Yeah. I tell you, I tell my story, and I'm not afraid to say it. I was blessed to be able to find my bank that funded Dapper D's, and just 4 banks. Now I sat down and talked with a couple of them, but 4 applications was submitted. My last 2 was, they were battling for those. But man, a lot of people don't have that same luck. You know what I mean? And even though, during the time of Dapper D's, COVID hit, I could have been like, you know what? We're just going to work in, somebody's company and make them more money. But I was like, no, forget that. This is why we're going to go even harder because of COVID. Because this is the time where failing, I wouldn't say if you were going to fail, this is the time to do it. It's not to do it when the economy is great, because nobody is forgiving during that time. Everybody wants their money. They're going to come take every single thing. But when if you could start when the economy is at its worst possible state and build up to the growth of it, you have a freaking boom. You have a boom.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
You're exactly right. So you just got to keep on trucking, And in sales, a lot of people use the baseball analogy. Like, you can go out there and bat a 300 and get in the Hall of Fame. You can go out there and bat 300 and make $5 million a year.
Yeah, come on.
And that 300, that's selling 3 out of 10 times that you try.
Yeah.
So that means you got 7 rejections out there.
per 10 sales. Absolutely. Yep. Hey, Joe wanted to know, is Capital Ingram more of an investing firm or a mortgage firm or both?
So on Ingram Capital, we're an investing firm. So what we do is we'll bring on investors, and we'll pay them dividend pretty much every month, and we'll invest in the community. We'll take these old abandoned houses, and some need a complete rehab, others just need floor, carpet, paint, HVAC, stuff like that. And that's what Ingram Capital does. And then I'm also in the mortgage business with Atlantic Trust Mortgage. So I help people, anybody who wants to buy or refinance their house. I'm only licensed in Florida right now, but I can help anybody in Florida. So
speaking of rehab, do you have a rehab fund that you put into these homes once you buy them? Or are you trying to find some that are, very minimum things that you have to actually work on in order to get it, tenant ready?
We try to buy about 2/3 of our houses already rented out with a tenant in them. We get these properties from other investors. Some people get tired and they don't want to deal with it anymore.
Yeah.
And some people are just like about to go into retirement and maybe they don't want rentals anymore. Doesn't fit their lifestyle. Some people move. So we try to buy about 2/3 of our place already rented. And then it just depends on our workload. We found out earlier in the year, we bought 30 houses in one quarter. First quarter of 2020, we bought 30 places. Yeah, so in that 30, we bought 10 that needed construction. And we found our limit. We hit it. Like never again will we have 10 houses under construction. Pretty much full rehabs at one time. But as far as funding them goes, we'll raise all the money for the project to start out with. So if I'm buying a house, let's just say I'm raising $50,000. So what that is I'm buying the house for 20 and I'm putting 30 grand worth of rehab in it.
So I guess what everybody's question is how do you find these investors from your side of the ball game?
Yeah, well, I mean, we get them from a lot of different places. So we get them from wholesalers. So these wholesalers, what they do is they go do direct mail campaigns, do flyers. They're out there in the community knocking on doors, and they'll get a house. They'll find somebody who wants to get out of their house for whatever reason, and they'll get it under contract, and then they'll sell that to us. These wholesalers, they've only got like 2 weeks to sell their contract or to assign it to somebody else. So a lot of times they'll tell the homeowner, "I'll have you out of here in 2 weeks," and then they gotta go find somebody to buy it, and that's where my brother and I will step in. We'll buy it from them. So that's one of our avenues. Another avenue is my brother is an insurance guy, so some of his clients might be moving or want to sell their properties. So that's where we get some more leads. Sometimes we just buy them straight off the MLS, straight off of Zillow or Trulia, any one of those websites.
So the bulk of the question was, how did you find your investors that you pay the dividends to? Are these the wholesalers that you're talking about, or are you networking with that? That's more or less what I was asking.
Yeah, how do we find our investors?
Yes.
So I mean, you start with your friends and family. That's where you always start. So we're not from a very affluent family by any means. So, and we just expanded our friend network. Any one of my friends who was interested in real estate, I'd talk to them about it. And what you find is a lot of people are really interested in real estate investing, but are too scared to take that first step. Mm-hmm. Or maybe they don't have the time. Maybe they got a full-time job, some kids, all sorts of other things going on. But they got 50 grand sitting in a corner that maybe they're not happy with the stock market.
Yep. So
they'll pull that out. And then I'll use it to go rehab this house. I'll send them pictures along the way. And then they like that a lot better than sending one of these big tech companies a few more dollars.
And that's what people really fail to realize is that in reality is the banks is not going to give you too much money in interest to make you happy. Stock market is always up and down. I see a lot of people running to the stock market right now because it's down and it's affordable. But what happens when it goes back up and it crashes back down? Are you going to pull out and just, just say I'm done with the stock market? The best possible way is tying your money up into, some type of real estate or some type of entrepreneur or business investment in order to get that dividends. Like some pays it on, a monthly basis. Some pay it on a quarterly basis. Some pay it on an annual basis. And you just or semi-annual, and you just have to kind of find your niche and what it is that you're willing to do. But I tell you what a lot of people that invest in stocks understand very, very quick is that stocks don't pay you no dividend unless you're in preferred stocks.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you may see that number on your app says, oh, what you paid $400. Now it's worth $700. And then tomorrow it's worth $200. And then it's back up to $800. And then it goes back to 50 cents. So now you're trying to figure out where you're trying to play. You never get that money back until you really sell it. Mm-hmm. And then now you just have to have the insight to sell right before the big drop. And you never know that because you already got used to, seeing it keep going up, and then one day it crashes. It's just like gambling. When you go to the Vegas and you sit at a blackjack table or a poker table, it's never smart to sit at a table and be like, well, I'm just gonna play until I get, an amount that I'm comfortable with. Because at the end of the day, you may get to that amount and then just be like, I'm gonna keep going because I'm winning, and then lose everything. You have to have a strategy.
Yeah, you're exactly right. I mean, I got frustrated with the stock market. I was investing, just mostly in mutual funds and stuff, but from like 2014 to 17, it was like, all right, I've been in this for 3 years now. My money's been up, it's been down, it's been flat, not really seeing anything going on here. And then I just put it in real estate, Now I can pay myself pretty much every month.
Yeah. So I know we done had this conversations prior to this. Mm-hmm. What do you see the advantages of investing into residential real estate versus commercial real estate?
So it all depends on your market, So, residential real estate, it's what we're comfortable with. It's what we ended up learning and know. At some point, we'll transition into commercial. And because we want to add coffee shops, bars, restaurants, all these amenities to the area that we've been focused on in Dayton.
Yeah.
But it's all about being an entrepreneur. You got to find a need and then fill it.
Yeah.
So you got to figure out, what do people need right now? Just like you with your cigar shop. You're like, you know what? People on the north side of Jacksonville don't have a good cigar place to go to. So, some places need residential real estate and others need commercial.
Yeah. And it's funny that you mentioned that, because if you haven't took anything from anything that we said today, it's all about strategy. You have to have a strategy that, sets you up for the fulfillment of whatever it is that you're trying to gain. But entrepreneurship is very, very similar to sales, right? You are selling a product to solve a possible need, what you hope to be a need from somebody. In reality, it can definitely be a want, but you're looking for more of the need basis. Entrepreneurship is finding a problem and providing a solution. And I think when you look at the commercial and the residential, you got to realize is, commercial real estate takes a lot of money. You're not getting no commercial property for no $40,000. You may be getting it for $1 million or $2-3 million. But those are shopping centers. You know what I mean? That if you play the game right, you could get tenants in all of these that pay you $5,000 a month easily. Mm-hmm. And now that is where you get into the big money. But everything that you're doing right now is to build a portfolio that is sufficient for you to continue to grow, and grow.
Yeah, and those big shopping. Yeah, and those big shopping centers, they're very capital intensive and they require a lot of holding power. Because how many tenants can you find if a place goes vacant? How long can you have a place vacant before you start? Because when a place is vacant, you're paying for it out of your own pocket. You still got a mortgage, you still got insurance, taxes. So with a residential house that rents out for $700 a month, I could find another tenant pretty quickly.
Yeah. So it's kind of switching gears and more focusing on the actual properties itself and the filling strategy that you use. How are you finding your tenants? And is it as simple as the words describe it, if that makes sense?
Finding a tenant. So my brother and I, we just took over property management about 3 months ago. So now sometimes our tenants will reach out to us and say, hey, other properties, because I've got a friend that wants to rent one. And that's the best right there. And my brother and I, we've also both got day jobs that we do. This isn't our primary. It is a big focus for us, growing this residential real estate business. So sometimes we'll use realtors to help us place tenants. Because most realtors, they know a lot of people who are either looking to rent or looking to buy. and we'll just say, hey, realtor, we've got this house, and then they'll help us find a tenant for it.
Okay. And what type of vetting criteria do you send them through in order to make sure that you're putting the correct tenant inside your homes?
Yeah. So these realtors, they'll do a background check. They'll look at your credit score. We want 3 to 4 times. Your salary has got to be 3 to 4 times what the rent is.
Okay.
So if the rent's $700, you got to make somewhere between $2,100 to $2,800 a month.
Mm-hmm. Easy day.
So,
easy day.
Yep.
So from your perspective, I want to start my own residential investing firm. Where do I start, and how do I? What would be the tips that you would give me along the way to help overcome some of the issues or the problems that you faced in your journey?
Yeah, just get involved with the community. You got some, there's real estate investor networks or meetups in just about every city. So find the people who run those, talk to them, tell them what you're looking for, and just read a few books on it. Trying to think of a few. I'll get the links out to you later of a few books that I recommend. And then, but what I don't want people to get stuck doing is doing way too much research and never pulling the trigger, like you're talking about earlier. So know what a good deal looks like, know what you're looking for, and how would you add value to the community too. Start driving around different streets in the neighborhood, and just go from there.
Yeah. Good. And then one of the last things I want to kind of dive into it with you, because all of this has been very informative, is the portfolio building process. What a lot of people don't understand is the compiling of all your properties. It goes into a portfolio that has a tag on it. Would you eventually get to a point where you want to sell your portfolio, and how would you go about evaluating the strength or the for that matter the price of your portfolio?
Yeah, well, we're in the residential market, so the price tag for ours would be just based on comparable sales. So it's pretty easy to put a price tag on our portfolio, but will we want to sell it? Not anytime soon. So our plan is to hold these for the long term, and use the cash flow to pay for our kids' college down the road, our retirements. It's probably next year we can start paying some of our own living expenses if we wanted to. So
there it is. A couple people chimed in. Just some remarks from some of the viewers. Arthur Cole says real estate never goes down in the long term. Do you agree?
It depends on your market. So are people going in or out of your city? Yeah. That's what I would look at, because when the demand goes down, then your prices are going to start to go down with it.
Yeah.
But like Jacksonville, you said, is one of the hottest markets right now, so prices are all going up. As long as there are 8 to 10 offers on every single house that comes on the market, prices will not go down. But when you have no offers on a house, that's when prices start to go down pretty quick, so you can find that buyer.
Absolutely. Hey, and then obviously people just agreeing that obviously investing in their own cities is something that is cool. But let's just say somebody is looking to buy a house. How can they get in contact with you? Excuse me. How can they get in contact with you for mortgage options and different things of that nature?
Yeah, you just give me a call. I think my cell phone number is down in the link somewhere. And then
904-242-6894.
Yeah. Call myself. Or Wil, W-I-L, at ingramcapital.us.
Got it. And we'll put that in the comment boxes as well. That's Wil at
ingramcapital.us.
Wil at Ingram Capital US. All right. So one thing that we do on the virtual smoke that really wraps us up is we talk about a gym, right? The gym doesn't necessarily have to be about residential investing. It doesn't have to be about entrepreneur. It's really about whatever is that comes on your heart. It's just a way to empower the viewers as well as anybody else that watch this segment that gets motivated from it. What is a gem that you can drop on them to really, just focus on and continue to, put forward in everything that they do?
Yeah, I mean, I would just say if you've got that entrepreneurial spirit in you, then go do something. Go find a need out there in the community and figure out a way to fill it. Talk to others who are in that same area. I mean, I picked real estate. It doesn't have to be real estate. It can be anything that's on your heart to get out there and go do.
You know what, Will? I mean, words from a mastermind. Will is very, very smart. Will has a phenomenal strategy. We have talked investment strategies before. We have talked about, exit strategy. We have talked about everything. And I tell you what, Will, looking at you today on this screen, and obviously all the other times we will meet in person as well, I really thank you because you opened my eyes to certain things that, coming from a small town area that I would have never thought of. And really helped me understand how to, one, expand my portfolio just outside of Dapper D's and everything else that I'm trying to do. So I appreciate you for that.
Thanks. I appreciate you having me on here, Derry.
Most definitely, most definitely. Will, thank you so much for stopping by and taking this hour out of your day to drop some of them nuggets as well as them gems on us in this virtual smoke deck. And we will see each other very soon, my brother.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Thanks.
And have a good one, Will. And for everybody that's looking into trying to get into the residential investment market, I mean, Will has really opened his doors to assist you in whatever way that you possibly want to be assisted. He can get you the mortgages that you need in order to fulfill it. He can just really help you so you don't have to run into those same troubles that he ran into in his adventure, and really try to get you to your place as quick as we possibly can. That's everything that I'm about. The purpose of the virtual smoke deck is to sit here and put people in front of you that looks just like us, that's doing things just a tad bit different from us, and showing us a way of how to do it, educating us on what is the best way to actually get it done, man. And if y'all don't use the resources that I put here in this virtual smoke deck to apply them to whatever it is that you're doing, then you're failing yourself. And again, once you start speaking failure out, it will also sit into your brain and just feel like you're going to fail ultimately. So failure is never the option. Never give up on yourself. Also, if you're watching on YouTube, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, smashing that like button, and turn on the notification bell. We update our YouTube twice a week, Thursdays with the YouTube videos, the educational videos about cigars, and then Sundays we bring, some powerful and influential people that are doing different things in different industries to your screen so you can learn from them. Next week, we got Kevin and Juan from Protocol Cigar. We actually have our first cigar manufacturer here stopping by at the virtual smoke deck with Protocol Cigars. If you haven't already, make sure you go ahead and order some Protocol Cigars, whether it's from DapperDCigars.com or if it's from Protocol Cigars. They have all the retail information where you can find, but yet we carry the entire brand at Dapper D Cigars. So make sure you go check them out. Fire up some of those Protocol Cigars. So therefore, you're ready to really talk about what we're about to dive into with them next week. As always, man, I appreciate everything. I appreciate everybody for tuning in and watching this virtual smoke deck. Participate, Joe, Arthur, Camille, my beautiful wife, Renisha, for all of your inputs during this segment. And keep them coming, man. We want to make this as big as possible, man. We launched this, a couple months ago. And my goal by year one is to make sure every time we click live, we have 80 to 100 people watching at one time. And we cannot do that without you guys' support. We cannot do that without you guys' feedback. So if there's anything that we need to focus on, or you really want to know when it comes to the virtual smoke deck that you want me to focus on with our special guest, let me know. DM me. Make a comment. Say, Jack, it's terrible. I don't care what it is, man. Go ahead and just give your feedback so we can improve and also get the word of virtual smoke deck out there just as much as we can. with that being said, I appreciate everybody stopping by. It's time for the Eagles to come on. If you're not an Eagles fan, and you're just a football fan and you're somebody that hates the Eagles, I don't want to hear nothing about your smash talk, okay? I know we're trash. I know they're not playing good. I don't want to hear about nothing, okay? I don't want to hear it. So I'm going to go watch my damn game in my man cave and cry later. No, with that being said, I'm Jack the Cigar Enthusiast. I appreciate everybody stopping by, but I'm gone.